this cause they know they can never touch this. So fucking let me talk my shit, or I might just go another fit. You know I can't help it.
No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I watched Clone Wars, but I mean, I fell asleep a couple times at night on an episode here or there. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so that's why you call him Huang instead of Huang, like everyone else.
Hey, listen, I've caught up hella on Star Wars. Like, compared to where my knowledge is at, like 6 months ago, compared to where I'm at now, I'm way beyond anywhere I was ever at. So, like, I'm quite proud of my Star Wars. Like, I'm selling people on Star Wars now on my own with my Huang shit.
Huang.
I'm probably gonna get like a strike from YouTube for like a racial slur now or some shit like that.
Check.
Yeah.
Huang.
All right. So how do I pronounce it again, Jasmine? Is it am I sounding it? Is it Juan?
Does the Android have a nickname? Like, it can be easy for us to say it.
Wang.
Oh my god! I'm sorry. Oh, my bad, folks. Oh my god! Even I fell the fuck out there for a minute. Oh yes, it's possible. Andre's your theme music, bro.
What you doing?
I think that's the coolest theme music ever. I really do, honestly. Folks, welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge Report this Monday evening, 1:15:24. Don't mind my red flashing microphone. That my microphone has rejected me this evening. It has decided that it no longer wants to work with me as a content creator, so it just decided to start flashing red at me. It likes Andre still, but doesn't like me. So, Andre, are you hard at work trying to pull down that Phase 5 info, brother?
Yeah. So it's kind of difficult because I want them to show you the. Here we go. I think I got it. Just give me a minute.
What you want to show me your PowerPoint presentation that you're so super proud of?
That's later, folks.
All right, folks.
So I got the variety for the Phase 5, Phase 6.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much, Andreas. Folks, we're here to continue and sort of wrap up, I guess, our conversation on Deadpool 3 from last week. And we're here to talk about the Jonathan Majors firing and the ripple effects across, mostly Phase 5 of the MCU, but going into Phase 6 of the MCU as well. And then, of course, we've got episode numbers 5 and 6 from the X-Men animated series, too, to knock out, to review this evening. So looks like I'm losing. I've got Time Cop, Time Lord over here in Iceman mode. What's up, Time Cop? Can you hear me? We've got all kinds of technical difficulties going on here, folks. I've got my microphone is still flashing red at me for some reason. I have no idea why. Time Cop is in the time freeze zone right now. But as we move on and move forward, I guess he's gonna Time Cop. Do you want to depart and come back on? There he goes. Anyways, folks, see, look at that. I'm left solo. So yeah, we got some X-Men animated shit for us to rock out for y'all. Episodes 5 and 6. Jonathan Majors firing, very relevant, very important. Something that is very unfortunate. We're not really going to delve too deeply into his actual charges or his arrest or anything like that and whatnot. What's up, Raymond? How's it going, Mr. Booze and Chill? Appreciate you, sir. And thank you for the shout out on the background, sir. I appreciate that. And hopefully I'll see you soon on Booze and Chill. I know that was it last night that you just did were you doing your drinking games for the first time or whatnot? I like that deal. I've been telling Raymond, that we should do some and I wanted to bounce off you too. I'd love to do some live Cards Against Humanity, bro. and like get after it. I've got a couple decks, dude. I've got like 3 different Cards Against Humanity decks, man. If you ever want to like fuck with me on that level, I'm down, man. Can you imagine Time Lord on some fucking Cards Against Humanity shit? That shit would be dope as fuck. Anyways, I feel so alone having the screen all to myself. You know, it's pretty intense. I'm telling you, I'm used to there always being like backup. But anyways, you know, so basically, folks, to wrap up, kind of like I guess carry over the Deadpool 3 conversation that we had last week. Why wait for Mr. Andrea as Time Lord, sir, to wrap up his Wi-Fi issues? Was basically just that, you know, Deadpool 3 is the one standalone Marvel film that we are guaranteed this year. I don't know, you know, I in the eyes of the span of the entire fandom, I don't know how they feel about that. We've become pretty used to in the whatever it's been, 12 years or whatever and whatnot that we've had an MCU really firmly. We've always, you know, been able to basically expect, and that Marvel has delivered with, you know, at least 2 or 3 or, you know, films, if not 4 films a year for us for, you know, for quite a while now. So, oh, that's all I like to hear, Raymond. That's all I like to hear, brother. You see that, folks? Collaboration in progress while live streaming. That's called dual purposing your content, baby. Anyways, we'll stick for the content creation 101 for later. But Deadpool 3 is our one standalone film that we get along this year, and I think it's not a bad thing, to be honest with you. The whole superhero marketplace and whatnot right now is just oversaturated, I think, in general. From a general audience standpoint, from a standpoint of people that are in the fandom, you know, or even maybe like loosely in the fandom, like Raymond is like an MCU fan, right? Over at Boost and Chill, but Raymond's not like a dedicated hardcore MCU fan where, you know, he's going to sit there and like, you know, swallow or grind out certain Disney Plus series that have come out, for instance, right? Maybe like, you know, when you know, if you're somebody who has kids and, you know, you have a career and, you know, you have a family and whatnot, everything, right? If Marvel hasn't been giving you the, you know, the quality product in the films, in the film, you know, from a cinematic standpoint, why would certain, you know, people on the periphery as fans, you know, kind of like back off a little bit from some of these Disney Plus projects? And I think a lot of people in general in the overall fandom are starting to just kind of like basically not walk away, but just kind of pick and choose their spots when it comes to the MCU in terms of, you know, what they're hearing on the streets, what they're hearing from their friends, what they're hearing from their, you know, from their favorite content creators on YouTube or, you know, and podcasting and whatnot and everything. That's where they're getting their information from. And they're deciding based on that whether or not they want to spend their money, you know, in the theaters and actually go out and pay for the MCU product. Well, I want to believe that, you know, in 2024, with us having just the one MCU film, it being Deadpool of all characters, you know, it being his 3rd film, his other 2 films have done very well. You know, financially, they've been very well received. This is going to be our first rated R MCU film. And, you know, now they're calling Echo TVMA, but they don't want to call it an R. Disney doesn't want to. They're going to have to with Deadpool 3. It's a big event. It really is. It's a big event. And at that point, just because it's Deadpool 3, because we know Hugh Jackman Wolverine's going to be in it, right? It's a guarantee. We've already seen the set photos. It's basically being called almost, you know, I mean, it's Deadpool 3, but it's basically Deadpool Wolverine. And right at that point, I want to believe that this movie will do well on its own, on its title. It'll carry itself well. Now, when they start dropping trailers on this, which is going to come soon, we're due a teaser trailer here pretty soon. I'm thinking probably, I don't know, when Echo's over. Well, Echo's over. When, you know, when we're done doing Echo, when we're done weekly reviewing Echo, when we have 4 episodes left to go on it. After they drop X-Men 97, right, the 6th season of the X-Men animated series, you know, or would it be the first season of X-Men 97? So probably I'd say a couple weeks from now, we should be due some kind of teaser from Deadpool 3, unless they want to wait until they drop like a real full-blown trailer, their first trailer. We're basically, I don't have the date right in front of me right now, but I'm going to pull up the article. I'm waiting on Andreas to come back on with not everything, before I actually delve into Phase 5 and Phase 6. And as I already remarked, the ripple effect of the loss of Jonathan Majors. Now, basically, let's see what's going on with Andreas over here. What are you doing, Andreas? Where you at, brother? All right, so anyways, so back to like I was saying, Deadpool 3 is the one film that we are going to get this year. I do think it'll do well. I do think that it'll probably, on its own, with the trailers, with everything that we know about it, like we talked about last Monday, everything we know about it in terms of it being sort of a space where they're going to bring back like classic Fox X-Men characters and things like that into the MCU. It turning into that kind of vehicle, almost like an Avengers level type film almost, you know, when you think about it, or like one of the Captain America films, right? Like think Captain America Civil War-esque type film where you're going to have that many, like multiple characters in the movie, from what we understand. I think once the trailers drop, and then with that Deadpool 3 title on its own, the movie will do over $1 billion, I believe, in the box office. It will. Now, I don't know if I'd bet money on that, but I have a feeling that, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 months for Marvel fans without an MCU film, they're going to want to go out and shell out for Deadpool 3. That's, you know, that's my gut on that. I know I'm going to pay to go watch it, but of course I pay to go watch all the MCU films, right? So it doesn't really matter how I feel about them or what I think of them. I always go on opening night, right? And I always catch whatever comes out. Now, the Marvels wasn't even really all that bad. I mean, we reviewed it on here, and I think the lowest rating that any one of us dropped on it was maybe a 7. But it wasn't that bad of a film. There he is. What's up, Andreas? Are you still are you still frozen in the year?
What's up?
Oh, there you are. You're back. You made it, sir. You left me by myself. I was all by myself for 12 minutes and 52 seconds.
Hey, it's good. You hold the fort. You hold the fort.
I can hold down the fort.
Down.
I can lock it down, man. I can lock it down. Do we have a little bit of an audio delay there?
Yeah. No worries. It's probably the internet.
Anyways, I'm sorry you're having Wi-Fi issues, brother. But basically, like I was just explaining right now, what I was just basically saying was I think Deadpool 3, on the title itself, and then the lack of there being any other MCU movies this year. And when I say the title itself, I mean the Deadpool name itself, brand itself. The fact that it's basically the Wolverine and Deadpool film. That, let's be honest here, like it's going to be called Deadpool 3, but it's basically Wolverine and Deadpool. And then I think once the trailers come out, I think that this film will do over $1 billion in box office. I do. If that's still an important measuring stick to people out there, I don't know if it is anymore, but I still hold it as something of I don't know about you, Andreas, but I still hold that $1 billion mark as sort of like, you know, maybe it's something that we should, you know, bring down a little bit as a ceiling, right? But I think it's still a very achievable number as a qualifier, right? To some extent still, with, you know, your typical MCU film. I mean, normally we correlate box office, right, to how well the film is. Now the Marvels is a whole other story. But with Deadpool 3, do you think that $1 billion mark is a reachable goal?
Yes. I mean, come on. This, like, it's definitely reachable because this movie has ticked all the boxes as a, you know, superhero film, like multiverse kind of crossover. I mean, you got Deadpool coming back, you got Wolverine coming back after Logan. It's a combination of the Fox X-Men universe, so and in general the movies they produce. So and then there's also the curiosity, either it's going to be important or not to the MCU multiverse saga, which it probably will. And yeah, so I think it ticks all those boxes, right? And I think so it's 100% like guaranteed to be successful. And plus, having one MCU film is, I think, a fresh, thing, because we having like, thank God we don't have too many superhero films this year, so Deadpool 3 can have its own time to shine for the whole summer, which is great, and it has that. So
that's right. No, that's right. Because what is Sony's release schedule looking like? I mean, what are they? When does Craven come out? Do you remember?
it's in August. So
It's in August. All right. So, and then I think the Madam Web film is the first Sony film that comes out this year, isn't it?
yeah, next month. And
did they just release another trailer?
No. Right now, what's weird? Right now, we're seeing like the costumes for all the female characters in this movie.
Is that what I saw on the YouTube? Was that what they were talking about on YouTube today?
Yeah. So
Or yesterday? Okay.
Yeah. I like some sort of Chinese like marketing over there with the soda brand. I don't know what soda they're marketing, but like they're seeing the first time of these costumes, which is kind of weird. You think that we're gonna get that for officially, but we're getting this in such a weird way, and it's just this typical Sony thing. So yeah, to like remember people, like for Sony is releasing 3 of their supposed Spider-Man Sony universe. So February you're getting Madam Web, Craven the Hunter is in August, and then November is Venom 3. And then MCU, we only have Deadpool 3 that's coming out in July. And then so far, only DC film we're getting is Joker Part 2 that's coming in October. So that's our superhero lineup for this year.
That is actually something that I mentioned also before I was waiting for you to come back, was that I don't think it's a bad thing for there only to be the one MCU title this year coming out, because I think that there is a from a general audience standpoint here. I'm not talking about in the fandom or in the fandoms or whatnot. I'm talking about from a general audience standpoint. I think there is definitely superhero fatigue. That's finally it had to creep in, right? I don't know how long it's been there. I mean, you can take a swing at this yourself, but we both heard this term, the superhero fatigue term, get bantered about in the last couple of years, right? That's out there. I don't see how it's not credible that there wouldn't be a general, right? I mean, you understand what I'm saying when I talk about mass audience folks. All I'm talking about is the general people out there, whatnot, right? That don't go around considering themselves like me and Andreas, dedicated like Cyber, where we're diehard MCU fans, where we consume everything that they put out, right? No matter what, religiously, whatever, we're gonna watch it, and just I'll be optimistic and hope that like the next thing that they give us will be better than the thing that we got before, right? Basically, kind of, right? Like that's kind of the mentality. Well, then you've got your general audience people out there, whatnot, that where there are still viewers out there that can be grabbed for the MCU, right? There's a whole other young generation of kids that that Feige and Marvel Studios is kind of like pushing off to the side a little bit, if you think about it, right? Andreas, I mean, look at I know it's a small size sample, but look what I've told you about with my teenage kids, right? Kind of falling off with Marvel a little bit, whatnot, and where did they fall off? With the Disney Plus stuff, right? So at that point, if you figure that like for most, we'll use them as an example, kids, right, in their teenage years, that have watched the MCU films religiously as they've all grown up. Well, if they're not buying into the Disney Plus stuff, right? Well, at that point, all they're seeing is the films. So you can't blame them if some of the stuff that they've been given has been a little bit hit or miss. Well,
yeah,
I do really, honestly, genuinely believe that that with for one thing, the Sony stuff is like Madam Web. Nobody's dying to see Madam Web. No. So, I mean, you're right. Deadpool's not going to have any real competition besides other films outside of the superhero genre. I don't know what else is. When is Dune going to be competing with Deadpool?
No. No, in July, like we got Despicable Me 4, but that's like in the beginning of July, and then the Twisters film, but that's like the week before
That's right.
Deadpool 3 release. And the thing is, those two movies are different movies from Deadpool 3. So
You're right. So there is nothing really of that genre or whatever that's going to be coming out. So basically, I mean, I don't know about you, but like we talked about this last week, just to reinforce it, I think you agree with me, right? I think that Deadpool might even set records. Might maybe not surpass the Spider-Man or the Endgame or Infinity War records, but it's definitely going to set some numbers when they drop those trailers. The trailer views are going to be way back up there, like what you'd expect from like a big MCU film, right?
yeah, it will be like, for me, it will be in the level where Doctor Strange 2 and Wakanda Forever trailers were. Like the hype was kind of there, and it would definitely generate that kind of money. In the level of where No Way Home or Far From Home kind of did for this type of film, which is good. And plus, it's been a long time since Deadpool 2, so like,
I know it has been a long time.
So the fact that we're getting another Deadpool 3 is like, okay, I'm like very excited to see the character of Deadpool again. So there's gonna be like a lot of enthusiasm for this film, not only because of the big cameos and this importance in the multiverse, like is also the character, because this character has grown so much since the first film. So so there's a lot of support for this film, so which is good.
And you know what? I'm realizing it right now as you're talking. I'm really not seeing many naysayers out there that are like that are worried about this movie, that are worried about Disney or Marvel Studios. You're not hearing any of that, of them having anything to do with maybe messing this film up, right? I haven't heard any of that.
No. I mean, so far the drama has been free from Deadpool 3. We haven't heard crazy things like reshoots or I mean, the cancel culture thing that you and I kind of discussed a little bit, which I don't like to talk about, but luckily that hasn't been a problem with Deadpool 3, which is good. Yeah, everything has been drama free with this film, which is good. Like Marvel Studios and everyone in Disney are like way more confident with this film, so they're allowing the director, Ryan Reynolds, to take the ship, because they need a hit. Because remember, we're not gonna go too deep, but like last year, 2023, not a good year for Disney. Like all the films were underperformed or bombed, except of course Guardians 3. Guardians 3 did very well, but half their 23 slate was just overwhelmed. So
no, and on another show, what's up, Raymond? Yeah, they've been lacking. You're right about that, Raymond. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Raymond, we've been hearing, Andres and I have been hearing these rumors about Echo as well. Have you been watching ahead, Andreas?
I'm gonna start tomorrow, but just for episode 2 or 3. I'm like taking my time.
We've been hearing the same things, Raymond. I'm trying to stay away from the videos on YouTube, but I've heard that we only watched episode 1. Cyber saw all the way through, I believe, and he said that they really get heavy into like all the Indian magic stuff and whatnot, and everything. And we'll encounter that when we deal with it. We still have 4 more weeks of reviews on it to do, right? And you're welcome to join us on one of those if you want to, Mr. Booze and Chill, by the way. But no, last thing I just wanted to ask you about, Andreas, as far as Deadpool 3 goes. Before I pull this article up and we start to get into like the ripple effects of majors firing and whatnot on the phases 5 and 6, the only thing I was going to mention to you was simply that they're still shooting this film. So, do you feel like there's any time constraints kind of put on them? Because I mean, let's be honest here. They are trying to interweave, if we understand correctly, they are trying to interweave quite a bit of setup for like Avengers Secret Wars and whatnot and everything, right? And Avengers 5 into this film. So, that does have to be, that is falling into, that's falling into the hands of the Deadpool team, with Ryan Reynolds and whatnot, and the director, that they've got to work with Marvel on that stuff. They do. It is an MCU story, right? It is Deadpool 3. It is Deadpool's first film in the MCU. So, you know, they don't really have time for reshoots, do they?
No. Well,
It's
so
gonna be tight.
yeah, that'd be tight. So when I brought this up, like, maybe it's connected to the MCU. When I say maybe, it's because you have to know that Deadpool, the series, will pardon my French, fuck you up. Is not that kind of superhero franchise. Like, look at what Deadpool 2 did to X-Force. And first off, it was hilarious when I saw that. And it's just, this series is so comedy. And I don't expect, like keep your expectation low. Either or not is going to be taken serious to be part of the MCU and the multiverse saga, because I will truly believe that Ryan Reynolds is going to make fun of this whole multiverse trend thing in this capacity, because it just got ridiculous to the point that it's just like, oh my god, it's so tiring.
We all knew that was a possibility years ago, right? That I remember. You can quote me. You can see me as a guest on shows years ago being asked about this and saying to people then, hey, I'm down with the multiverse and all that and whatnot, but like if they go too far with it, though, it can go the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean by that, right? And that's what you're talking about right now, is it can become like farcical.
Yeah, which I'm
so of
fine
course
with.
It's low-hanging fruit for him, for Reynolds.
Yeah,
of course it is.
Exactly. So no, I'm not complaining. I'll be very happy he does that, because it's very true, and that would be perfect for Deadpool 3. And yeah, I mean,
but that's that line he's got to cross, though, right? Is that he can only go so far with that, because at the same time, though, the concept of his film is going to involve the multiverse.
Yeah. See,
as a result of his activities in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not worried about that. I trust Ryan Reynolds and the team, and like that's the difference between this project and the other MCU projects. I trust the creative team here, and they've done a really good job from the first two films of the balance, between farcical and seriousness, and I truly trust that they are able to do that. So I'm not worried about that at all. I love the first two Deadpool films. I think that they definitely help a lot to increase the the superhero genre, change it for the best. So yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. So I trust the team. The fact that we haven't had so many of the drama like some of the other MCU projects, it's like they're in good hands.
Well, hey, I mean, really, at the end of the day, like we always try to bring it home. All they really have to do is entertain people with this film, right?
Yes.
Like, if they, and that's one thing that Deadpool films have generally done, has been entertaining. So, there's people out there. We all have our criticisms about everything that comes out, right? Like, even like, I mean, unless, you got your films like Oppenheimer where there really isn't anything bad to say about it. But most films, there is something you can critique, when it comes to the superhero affair. And I think it's actually a good segue. Andreas, you're right. Like, I think that, for once, you know what? Andres, let me let Dodge in real quick. I thought I heard him barking. Let me go let him in real quick.
Yeah, let me talk. So, let me discuss the how do you say it, like the I guess the potential of Deadpool 3 affecting the the multiverse saga. Like, I can see that if Deadpool 3 does lead into the multiverse saga, this means we're going to get all the X-Men characters from the Fox movies to be major part of the Avengers Secret Wars stuff. Like, I could definitely see Deadpool, Wolverine be major players in the Secret Wars if we will really like continue on to the story from Deadpool 3, because it's a wild potential to really potentially close out the Fox X-Men movies for good by having the Avengers movies to do that. Remember, the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame were great closure for the Visual 6, and I could see the two-part Avengers Secret Wars, whatever part 5 is going to be called, but those two next Avenger movies we're going to get to really properly close out, the version of Wolverine from the X-Men films, separate from his solo films, and like really close them out properly than what we got from Dark Phoenix and New Mutants. So like yeah, and now that Jeff comes back, I put out the original Phase 5. I didn't know how you want me to do this. So like this is the Phase 5 announcement we got here in Phase 6 before the writer strike happened. So this is the projects we got here. And,
Okay.
yeah, so you know, to know this is before the changes we got here. So there's images of Phase 5 to 6 above to make it easier, I'll say.
Oh, so they did. So they had Echo for summer 2023. Okay.
Yeah, it was before we got it today in 2024.
Wow. All right. And then we've got
Season-
Loki season 2, summer 2023.
Yeah.
Blade, November 3rd, 2023.
That was before they changed it. Yeah, Ironheart was like fall of 2023, which did not happen.
Agatha Covenant of Chaos. They really overshot Daredevil Born Again. Or like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not even close to putting that film out. Or excuse me, that series out. Well, it's spring 2024.
Yeah, no way. It's coming out in 2025. I just, you know, it's gonna happen. It's funny that Attica is like the only one that is actually gonna release in 2024. I feel like because it seems pretty locked down.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. You saw, you know, in fact, we should probably get a trailer for it, like sometime after Deadpool. Like we were talking before you came out, I was saying that I think the Deadpool 3 trailer, the first one, will probably come out sometime after the X-Men 97 trailer comes out. Right? You figure like, you know, like give it another couple of weeks, maybe. I'm thinking, right, before we get the first trailer for Deadpool 3. We got to be close to getting one here soon.
Yeah. Well, February, we're gonna get the Super Bowl. See, that's where we're gonna get maybe our first look of it. If Disney is gonna put something for Marvel / like all their content for the Super Bowl, like that's where we're gonna probably see a glimpse of Deadpool 3, and then afterwards we're gonna get like a full-on trailer. And then when X-Men 97 is gonna come out, that's where the second like trailer of Deadpool 2 will come out. Is around the X-Men 97 release date.
Okay,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just what I'm thinking, you know. But you know, never, like and plus people never say never. Like a lot of the movie studios don't always promote their films for the Super Bowl because Super Bowl is very expensive. Like you have to pay a lot of money to put those TV spots and all those advertising they do. Which is funny.
Now they've changed the title of the Captain America film, right? It's not New World Order anymore.
Yeah, it's what is it? Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem was with New World Order.
I don't know. I like New World Order. I guess Brave New World makes I don't know sense. Like I don't know. I prefer the New World Order. Same thing with Africa. Like I prefer, was it the House of Harkness title? That was.
I like the House of Harkness too.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What is it now? They're on their third title change with that. What is it now? Is it Witch's Road?
What is it? Hold on, let me pull it out. I think it was a Harkness Diaries or something like that.
I'm confused now with the titles. They retitled that show 3 times.
I know it's ridiculous. Hold
now,
on.
what do you think? Now, what do you think about with Captain America 4? Right. Now, that's one film where the Majors firing really shouldn't impact Captain America 4 is a street level film, right? If you want to go by the concept that they are really going to like try to shoot to like branch out into like a multiple team kind of deal. We've almost got like 2 Avengers teams, almost like a West Coast, Avengers, East Coast Avengers of some kind, right? Then you've got the Thunderbolts, right? You've got your street level kind of like Avengers level, Avengers caliber players, like your reserve Avengers, like Spider-Man, Daredevil, right? Sam Wilson, right? You know what I mean? Although you figure Sam Wilson as Captain America, though, in the comics, Captain America still would lead the Avengers, no matter what even if it was a cosmic thing, right? The Captain America would still go into space with like his spacesuit on and shit and whatnot, and he would lead the team.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Endgame with Steve Rogers. Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the conversation we've had, and you and I have had this conversation before on shows. Is how is the leadership of the Avengers going to work, right? When it does finally come together, like, you know, how big of a role is Peter Parker's role going to be in the Avengers now?
Oh, I mean,
What about Captain Marvel, right? Like,
yeah, Captain Marvel. Yeah, I think I just want to know if I mean, that's the thing, because we don't know what's going on with the Avengers. Like, we know that we lost the major Avengers, but like, did the remaining like superheroes, like particularly did one and several other people that made it during the blip, you know, before the other heroes came back from the blip and Endgame, they formed some like unity.
Did they come together? Yes, because we've seen scattered stuff. Like, we've seen that, like, we saw the stuff, right, with Shang-Chi, right,
Yes.
where they did kind of like bring in some extended characters like Wong, right, and they did bring in like Hulk, right, Bruce Banner, right, and they did bring in, although they didn't explain, right, why the hell he was able to be like human.
Oh,
did
no,
they?
no.
I can't.
Yes, they did. She-Hulk explained.
Oh yeah, you're right. She-Hulk explained it.
Yeah, he was using some tech that he created to like pull him back to be human form. And in the pilot, you saw when it broke, he went back to Hulk form.
It would only make sense. You're right, though, that like someone would have taken up a role because similar to Natasha's.
Yes.
Right, in Endgame, and sort of kept people in contact that were a part of that Avengers network. Now, who that person would have been, I just don't really know. Would it have been Ant-Man? I mean, like, who would it have been?
So you're speaking one. I firmly believe it's one because of the recent rewatch I had done, you know, with Shang-Chi, you and I did on my channel, and you know, She-Hulk and you know, Doctor Strange too. Like, because remember, people long became the Sorcerer Supreme because of what happened to Strange in Infinity War, and so he took over that. And I firmly believe it's one that's kind of running the show, because think about it, you know, he has stayed contact with the other heroes like Captain Marvel and Hulk, and then he also encountered She-Hulk, which it can easily explain why she is coming in Avengers movies, because she knows Wong, because Wong helped her out with the Abomination thing. So, you know, Trial, if you've seen the show, and you know, that explains perfect thing. And that's how, you know, in the next Avengers movie, you know, that's how many Doctor Strange will come back again. I mean, I've been hearing rumors that he's not going to be in the Avengers films for some reason, 5, I think, or whatever. But I don't know. If he comes back to 6, it's because Juan probably has to say, I need your help. So, and that makes sense. And then, you know, Hulk knows several characters. I think one is the leader of this unity that's, you know, is maybe taking over the, you know, the Avengers after what happened in Endgame. So
my only contrast to that, Andreas, would be simply that that I wonder myself. It's been suggested that Wong would be the one that would also be responsible for putting together the Midnight Suns, right? That's being heavily put forth by other YouTubers. You've seen it just as well as I have, right? That he would be the one to do the Midnight Sun stuff. Not Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange would be busy doing his own thing, but with the multiverse stuff, with the incursions and whatnot, everything, right? Coming off of Doctor Strange 2 with Clea. Well, I mean, if you want to go ahead, I can understand how that makes sense, right? That Wong would be the one then to kind of like step in, and I think it would kind of work too, since he would be the Sorcerer Supreme. He would be the one to go and recruit Ghost Rider and Blade and everything and whatnot. So I get what you're saying. So all I'm saying is you think it's possible that they're going to use Wong as like a multifaceted kind of like character where he's going to kind of like be sort of like keeping the lines together between the, can he do the Midnight Suns and also be that person that's also kind of still brokering contact between Avengers characters and whatnot, right? There must still be some kind of like communication going on between like Carol Danvers, for instance, right? And whatever's going on Earth.
Well, that's what's going on with Wong now. You brought up the Midnight Suns, and I wasn't thinking about one maybe putting together the Midnight Suns. That's actually a really cool idea, but
that's what's being put forth by a lot of the bigger YouTubers like the Cosmic Wonder, whatnot, everything, right? Everything always, and all that, whatnot. They're all saying that like it makes sense that like in the timeline, right? If you take into consideration Doctor Strange 3, when Doctor Strange 3 will come out, if you figure this is where the major stuff comes in, if you figure that the MCU is more if Marvel Studios is more inclined now to get the mutants out there, right? And now because of this Majors deal, and to push the Midnight Sun stuff out there quicker. I mean, you see how quickly they've gone ahead and look at how quickly Feige went ahead and signed up Deborah Ann Wall and what's his name to come back and be in Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
They shot half the season of the half the season without them, and now they have them.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
they canonized all the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so
they do a lot at us. I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's getting ridiculous. Here's the thing. They need to slow down and how many projects they have. I just personally think it doesn't make sense if you have Midnight Suns and now the X-Men be part of this multiverse saga. Like X-Men makes sense in multiverse saga, I'm saying. But the Midnight Suns, I just cannot see that in this saga. I think they need to wait after this saga is over because I just personally
there's no space. There's no place for it. Right? They already have the infrastructure set up in Phase 5 to lead into, and we're going to pull the article back up in a minute, but lead into our next Avengers films. But they can drop the seedlings though now for the Midnight Sun, right? With Blade and with Ghost Rider and some kind of special presentation maybe or something like that, a la Werewolf by Night, right?
Yeah, Werewolf by Night, and a Guardian special.
Werewolf by Night is somebody that's being floated out there as being someone who would be a part of the Midnight Suns team, and that would make sense.
Yeah, which I agree. I agree. That's my thing. If they I think the seed there to form the Midnight Suns is kind of like maybe building up if they do it right. We're getting
look, in the Werewolf by Night, they gave us 3 characters that could be in the Midnight Suns, right? Elsa Bloodstone, Man-Thing, and
Werewolf.
And Jack Russell, right? So
exactly.
Right there, they gave us 3 characters just in that one special presentation, which I still have not seen in color yet. In the in color version, I got to check that out. And I really enjoyed that. That really fucked us up when we watched it because I remember reviewing it, right? I can't remember who was on it, but it was me and Cyber. I think I might have moderated it. I can't remember. No, Cyber moderated it. And we just came off She-Hulk and everything and whatnot, right? And all this other garbage, right? You know what I'm saying? And like all of a sudden they threw that at us. You know what I mean? Like we reviewed Wakanda Forever, right? And that was a shit show. You saw the thumbnail on that. It says like, what the fuck? It says like fuck this or something like that, or like Wakanda what? Or whatever. Wakanda Forever. I hope not. That's what it says on the thumbnail.
Oh my god. No. I did not see that.
It's funny as shit, yeah. It says like fuck that. I hope not.
Hey, look.
And no, but then they threw Werewolf by Night at us, and we were like, what does this mean? This is great. Right? Like this is fucking awesome. What does this mean? Like what is this pattern? Supposed to be like, you get what I'm saying with this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, the thing about that was like I mean, I was surprised they were doing that. Like that came like, what was it, like after Comic-Con?
It just is so it was so good that it was like,
well,
how
yeah,
can you have? It was like, how can you have this and then have this?
yeah. By the
Right?
way, Werewolf by Night came before Wakanda Forever came out. So
Okay.
you know, the thing that came after Wakanda Forever was the Guardians Christmas special.
Which I was kind of like, whatever about that. But
I understand. I like it. I personally like it. It's one of my favorites.
I know some people like this. Most people that were on the review did like it, whatnot, everything. Right? It was well received. You know
Yeah.
me. I'm just a bah humbug type motherfucker. So
Yeah. Well, and if you would watch it again, it's better now because of Volume 3, because of the stuff that we got, the Volume 3 extended, expanded upon.
I like Volume 3. You know, I like Guardians 3. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
I think it's better than people give it reception to. But no, go ahead.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So I don't see Midnight Suns in this multiverse saga. I think if we see, one being the leader, like it makes it more sense of him forming the Midnight Suns maybe after the multiverse saga, and then we're good from Midnight Suns. What else? I'm just curious.
The Thunderbolts. The
Yeah.
Thunderbolts would be another film that would not be influenced really by the Avengers firing, right? Because
Yeah.
Thunderbolts again would fall in that street level category, and we're
Yeah.
pretty sure we have a gist of what's going on with that film, and that's basically going to be that it's going to be like a dual villain deal where it's going to be the Sentry.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the antagonist, but the real antagonist is going to be Vale, right? And
Yeah.
she's going to basically like throw the Thunderbolts at Sentry, right? When she can't control him. That's the gist. That's what's it's been leaked, right? Is what the thesis of the film is going to be, or the concept of it. And for those of you who aren't, they supposedly they put out a casting. They're trying to sign somebody to play Sentry after what's his name from The Walking Dead walked away.
Yeah, Steven Yeun. Yeah,
Yes.
it was kind of scheduled conflict. He wanted to do this project that was like personal for him. It was a project he wanted to do, so he dropped out. Because of and plus the Thunderbolts got really pushed back after the writer's strike, so it just didn't make sense for him to stay on. So we're gonna get another actor playing that Sentry. I didn't know about the synopsis for Thunderbolts. It's been very hush hush. That it's kind of cool.
That's the gist of it. I mean, can you see how that makes sense? Because you know how powerful Sentry is.
Yes, I know. I read I don't know. You read the World War Hulk or the World War Hulk and Hulk versus the World storyline. Like, yeah, Sentry is very powerful. And
I watched what's his name, the comic book guy there on YouTube. I watched him narrate it.
oh, really?
You know what I'm talking about, Rob?
Rob. Who is it? Rob.
Comic
Liefeld?
historian or
yeah, comic historian. Okay, yeah.
Is it a comic historian or it was Rob over there at you mentioned his YouTube channel before?
Comics Explained.
Yeah, I think Rob broke it down, that whole thing in like one of those like 5-hour type deals he does.
Yeah, he did. I think I remember a long time ago he did it. Which
So
was good.
no, so now the Fantastic Four film is one that would definitely be impacted by the Avengers firing.
Yeah.
right.
So okay. Yeah. Yes or no? Because that was always the thing that was if everyone let me explain this, because if people don't know that Kane is related to one of the Fantastic Four characters. That's of course Reed Richards. He is Kane is real name is Vandal Richards. He's like an ancestor to Richards family in the future or whatnot. And yeah, I mean he was definitely maybe be part of the Fantastic Four thing. In the multiverse saga, because it makes sense.
I was looking at it from a perspective of just the setup of the film, right? We basically again with that one we have a basic gist of what we think the film is going to be about. I don't think that Majors would have been in the film I'm just saying that they probably willing to change up the story a little bit, right? Just in terms of the fact that they are going to do something different with the Kang character. And you know that there's been talks that they might actually start the Fantastic Four off in a different dimension, or like in a different universe.
Oh,
than
really?
The 616. Yes.
Okay.
And then have them come into ours, right? By like like in a similar way to like of how things are going to be in Deadpool 3, how they're going to be recruiting for that sort of like multiverse team to fight like the the TVA, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
That they would bring them over that way.
Okay, I guess I kind of like that, but I guess this is personally me. I just wish we got the X-Men, not the X-Men. I'm sorry, the Fantastic Four, in the MCU already, because it just make it easier for them. They like exist in that universe, and like the reason we didn't hear them is because they were not yet publicly revealed. But if they're gonna do that, then that's fine. If they if they do justice with the X-Men, like they get the X-Men in their universe instead of another universe, then it maybe balance out. But okay.
That's just what they're saying. They're saying that there's been rumors that that they could start the film off with them in the 60s, right?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Have you heard that?
No. That's new for me. If they're gonna pull the Fantastic Four from another universe, then from the 60s, then I'm happy about that because again, that's when the Marvel universe was created during the 60s, and 1961 was when the Fantastic Four premiered, and they started the whole Marvel universe. If they're gonna do that, then I'm happy about that. Then go for that because it'll be a great way to bring these characters into the universe. Yeah, anyone haven't read the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars, not the 80s Secret Wars, folks, but the Jonathan Hickman 2015 Secret Wars. That's how the story is. That a lot of the desperate existing variants of the Marvel universe like joined together to stop Doctor Doom. Tried to stop Doctor Doom and tried to get their worlds back from the convergence stuff. And so I think what Jeff is saying makes a lot of sense. Bring in these variants of multiverse characters from the Fox, the X-Men, and then Fantastic Four makes a lot of sense.
It's definitely something where, again, you and I have discussed this too. It's definitely something where, again, if you go back and see us talking about this on shows back in the day, or like me guesting on other shows, I've been in agreement with a lot of other people in the whole idea that I never wanted to see the X-Men done through the multiverse. It's not what I wanted, right?
No,
not the core team, not the core team. Now this is before anyone was even talking about bringing back this is way before. We're talking about like coming off like Comic-Con in 2020 or whatever, right? 2021. We're like, so we're nowhere even close to the idea that they're going to bring back the Fox characters. That wasn't even on the radar back then. There was, Marvel Studios was planning Kang, but we didn't know about Kang really that much at that point. So what I'm saying is just that I always wanted to see the X-Men get their own origin story in the MCU. I've always assumed they're there already, right? Yeah. It's just a matter of them doing something like some Terrigen Mist type shit, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, right? Like a la like humans, right? Do something to kind of like activate the X gene, you know what I'm saying, in some way, I mean. But as far as going back to the whole concept of them kind of heading into the direction of different teams across the phases, we know that they've already sowed the seeds for the Young Avengers.
Yep.
Right, in the Marvels, in that what was that, like a mid-credit scene or whatever, whatnot, with Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop?
Was it mid-credit scene?
It was right before the credits.
Oh yeah, no, it was mid-credit scene. I'm sorry, because there was nothing really at the end.
I always get confused, to be honest with you. Like on I always get confused on what was mid and what was, you know what I'm saying?
Well, what's okay? and I don't want to move away our topic, but like speaking of the Marvels, they did it such a weird way because folks, we also got the Avengers tease, and they end the film such a weird way. They tease you the Young Avengers and then cut to credits, and then the mid credit scene, which is the mid credit scene, is the Beast cameo and the Monica Marie thing. It's so weird. Like you think you want to leave the Young Avengers tease towards the end. That's your post credit scene. I like me and Jeff like the Marvels, but the Marvels is a mess, and they're editing.
I was talking about that before you came on. Back when you came back on, that we all liked the Marvels. I think the lowest rating we had for it was yours, right? A 7. I think you gave
7 out of 10. Yeah.
I think I gave it an 8 or something like that. Whatever. I think Cyber gave it I gave it a 10 out of 10. I think or something like that, or an 8 out of 10. I think Cyber they gave the best rating out of everybody.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Not for, hey, you know what? For cutting an hour and a half out of that bitch, what they spit out, it came together okay, right? That final battle with that villain was not good.
No,
that was not good, man. That was not like nah, that was not good.
No.
And what I was going to say was that if they wanted to circumvent not having to worry about who was going to lead the Avengers or whatnot, everything, and piss anybody off in the fandom, they could have always just had Monica Rambeau lead the Avengers, right? That could have been one direction they could have went. They're not going to, but they could have went in that direction if they wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think I don't want to rewrite what we got, with Captain Marvel and all that, but I think that they should have just made Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, just like the comic books. And of course, if you folks don't know, back then, in the 80s, Captain Marvel was a leader in the Avengers during that time. And I just
didn't she also lead the Avengers as Photon too?
Before, it's afterwards. After when Carol became officially the
Captain Marvel. That is Photon. She led the Avengers as Photon too, didn't she?
No. Let me explain this. So, like, Monica Rambeau came in as Captain Marvel. She took the Captain Marvel.
I know that. I know a couple of different characters played Captain Marvel. Were Captain Marvel. Right.
Marvel was Captain Marvel. Carol didn't get that until the 2011s timeline.
Because she was Miss Marvel before that.
Yeah, Miss Marvel, and then she was Binary, which is funny because Marie Moreau in the post credit scene Beast cameo is Binary. If you know the costume and the name, which was cool. I'm excited for that. Anyway. So Proton is a new
from the comics.
Yes, but it's a new thing.
Okay, so it's a newer title for her though.
Yeah, her main one after she lost the.
That's where the green and white outfit comes from. Is from Photon.
The green and white.
The green and white the type outfit that she wears, isn't that the Photon outfit? I think that the colors are green.
No, that's the Creed. That's for Marvel. Her color was always the black and white, which we saw in the Marvels.
You're right. I remember that now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Very quickly. Just like classic superhero, like Ant-Man, Hank Pym, like she has multiple names and it's like ridiculous. Her new name after she left the Captain Marvel name was Spectrum, whatever the Spectrum name. And then what Jeff is talking about is Proton. That's the new name she got in 2020 when we were going to get WandaVision, and there was it's surgery and all that. So yeah, it's so ridiculous. Just keep one name for a fucking character. It annoys me. Like it's like Ant-Man, Giant Man, Goliath, and then oh my god, what else? Leather Jacket. Like people don't know Leather Jacket is not a villain name. It's actually a name for Hank Pym's other superhero name. And then oh my god, and even the Batman family like is like okay, Richard Grayson is Robin, the first one, and then he's Nightwing, and then Tim Drake is And then the Chin Drake is Robin, and then he's become Red Robin, and then Jason Todd is Robin, and then he becomes Red Hood, and then oh my god, I don't know what was going to be happening with Damian Wayne. Anyway, so just a long story short.
Now you're crossing over to DCU. That means it's time for a break.
I'm here today to meet the woman of my dreams. I've been talking to this girl on the internet for a while. I've actually been trying to save some money to go see this woman.
Did you talk to her online?
I go to the library, believe it or not, to talk to this woman. I met her on MySpace, and she's a very beautiful woman. She's tall, skinny, she's redhead, very beautiful woman.
Why don't we do it this way? Because you've never met her before.
Never met her.
Well, then I'm going to ask you to leave for a few moments, and we'll want to bring her out, let the audience meet her, and then we can both observe you two meeting, which will be a nice moment in your life. Okay? So if you would just
all right, thanks a lot.
leave her. We'll have you back in a moment. Thank you. So her name is Joby. Let's bring out Joby. Hi, Joby.
Hello, Jerry.
You are you met here Brad here on the internet.
Yes, we met on MySpace.
On MySpace. And what attracted you to him?
He was cute. He seemed very nice when in the message he sent me.
Yeah. And you think this could be the one?
Yes.
And
but I have a secret to tell him.
You have a secret to tell him?
Yes.
And your secret is?
I'm a man, Jerry. He says he wants to meet me, you know, he tried to get a bus ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
I said I'd just call the Jerry Springer show, you know, because then it'll give it more of a threat.
Let's see what, you know, what his reaction is going to be. But you really care about him. This isn't just to play a trick on someone. You really want him to be okay with you. All right. Well, let's bring him out now. Okay, how about a nice hand? Let's bring him back now. Here's Brad.
How you doing? So good to meet you. It's kind of nervous on national TV, I know, but, like, I wanted to ask, like, maybe, like, you know, you could be my girlfriend.
Well, Brad, I have to tell you, I'm a man.
I'll try anything once.
Look at that timing, folks. Look at that timing.
The audience, by the way, the audience is so funny. They just are like, did you hear one of them? Like,
I missed that second part of it. What did I miss?
Oh no. You know, when it was before, what was it?
I love for one thing, what is the chick's name, the dude's name or whatever, like Juicy or something? I don't even know, Josie or some shit. I don't know. Whatever. I love somebody in the audience swears at him. Like you hear him bleep the audience. Only on Jerry.
Yeah. Anyway, that clip is so funny. It's just hilarious. And the whole audience is like warring for it. It's like, oh my god, come on. Oh, you know what's funny? We need to see the clip with Austin Powers too, because Jerry Springer makes a cameo there, and it's so funny, especially when what is it? Dr. Evil's like lover comes there, and she starts do her usual stick of shouting, and like he gets scared when she shouts. It's so funny. It's such a funny clip.
All right, sir. I'm sure I can find it. Here.
Yeah.
Let me pull up this download deal you got going on over here.
Yeah, that's the X-Men slide. That's for the TV animation show later.
Oh, it's not pulling up for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Just wait a little bit because it takes a while. I put a PDF. Let me do it as images.
Okay, no problem. Oh, so no, just to wrap this conversation up, because I figured that we probably would just carry this over into our next show anyway. As far as getting into the actual Avengers films, I really just wanted to kind of clear the path so we can get to there, right?
Yeah.
And wrap up Deadpool 3 and kind of get to the point where we, if anything, we're only talking about Deadpool 3 carrying over into Avengers 5. And I figured that would be a good spot to kind of end things, right? Is kind of just leave it there. Then next week we'll come in, right? And then we can go right into what will be Phase 6, which will be the Avengers films. Which, you know, we're hearing rumors now that there could be 3 of them now, not just 2. I don't really think that's very feasible personally, but like Andre says, that's just more projects. Like that's another film. That's another whole Avengers movie.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of Avengers movies in like a short period of time.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Like, it's not a new thing. If you've seen the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films, like, I'm not against that. But those films need to be good to justify doing 3 films back to back. You know, like, I mean, the reason that the Lord of the Rings were successful because they were good films. And, like, they you know, and, you know, let's say less about the Hobbit films, but, you know, people, you know, like it and did well, you know, in the box office. But yeah, I just personally think that's way too much. I think 2 parters is fine, but you know, I don't know. It's just.
I agree. Like, I think 2 films is enough. I think it's overboard almost to talk about doing Secret Wars in 2 films like that and everything and whatnot. Like another Infinity War Endgame scenario. Like, that's not built up. It's just not there, right? Like, the infrastructure is not set up for that. You know, so like it's not laid out like it was before in the past.
Yeah.
We're an interesting spot of transition right now in the MCU, and this is going to be an interesting year, right? Because it's going to be a 1 film year, and then we're going to have nothing but animated Disney Plus stuff to play with all year round, right? That's not even really going to be that heavily tied into the MCU.
No,
you know,
I mean, X-Men 97 is completely his own thing. I mean, it's a sequel to a 90s show that we're reviewing, which is great. But
episode 5 of the animated series is really good.
I know. I mean, hey, the Morlocks is great. It gave us the meme for Wolverine when you see him in the picture with the Jean and Cyclops and flashing. It's so it's like, oh my god, that's the meme.
I started laughing. I can't help myself. It's funny because you know, life, you know, like just like with anybody out there, right? Like life can be up and down for you, right, or whatever, whatnot, right? And you know, I got up really early this morning and I had a long day, and so I was kind of like trying to recharge my battery. I laid down for a while, which is probably usually not smart to do when you have a show at night, but not to lay down. You know, like watch TV, because it can be, you know, things can happen. You can fall asleep or whatever, whatnot. It's happened to me before. And either way, I lay down and I'm like, oh, I got to watch my X-Men animated episodes anyway, right? Because I watch them anyway on my own, right? Like, for the most part, what I'm watching is Marvel's Avengers Assemble. The animated came out off of the MCU that they made like 2013 or whatever, whatnot. It's actually really good. I really like it. That's the one that has the same voice actor as Iron Man as the one in What If.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Actually no. That was the Lego Avengers. That actor, Mick whatever. Yeah. But no. I can't help but laugh sometimes during the X-Men animated series episodes because Wolverine is so funny. Like, first of all, right, episode 5, Professor X, anytime anybody brings up Morph, I find it hilarious. Like, Professor Xavier had to mention Morph, right? You laughed at Drew when he said that shit? I was laughing. I'm like, come on, bro. I'm like, come on now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why you gotta bring Morph up in this shit?
I know when by the way, I rewatched the show the year ago.
The opening was hardcore too, with Storm and shit, the danger room and everything going on. That shit was deep.
Yeah, it was deep. I mean, she was OP when she was like,
oh yeah, it was like a cyclone and shit in there. Like,
yeah.
How she created that cyclone in that small space, I don't know, but she did somehow. She had Rogue, everybody all swept up, swirling around in the tornado and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
people he was dancing and shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh my god. Anyway. I mean, well, and then also,
and then she had a panic attack, like a breakdown, because she
Yeah.
was so because she OP'd out. She does that in the animated series. Storm OPs and like loses it.
yeah.
Like once she already went OP one time and got fatigued, right? And like Wolverine caught her, right?
Yeah.
And in real life, nowadays in 2024 or whatever, whatnot, like you got a lawsuit for that shit, for touching her ass like that, right?
Yeah.
But either way, now she OP'd out the danger room. Like, you know, the danger room is fucking sick in the animated series, but she OP'd because like Professor Xavier was like throwing all kinds of crazy shit at them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jean was actually participating for once. She was out there, like, actually fighting and shit. That's one of the cool things about episode 5 is Jean's in there, mixing it up.
Yeah.
No, tell me, but no, I mean, what else was funny? I loved it when I don't want to get too far ahead of the episode, but when Logan is in his karate outfit with his shirt off or whatever, when Jean comes in. And he says her name, and he says Jean. Remember how the fuck he says it? All mean and Wolverine-ish and shit. Jean. Remember the fuck? I'm like, I almost fell out.
See, I was gonna bring it up because that was when the Jean and Wolverine thing was really spicy up. When he say we need Jean say we need you because we need you in the team, and it's like, and then he replies like, I need you. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and
she looks sexy too. She looks hot too.
Yes. I mean, of course. I mean, come on. Jane is a redhead. She's gonna be sexy, just like, you know, Black Widow. And
she had a sexy outfit on and everything and whatnot, right? She had like that dress outfit on.
Yeah, exactly. It
was very form-fitting.
Form-fitting, yeah. I mean, the women in this series are very hot. I mean, like Rogue is hot. I love her. She's sexy. I mean, she was in the swimming suit. You remember? You saw that in the episode, and she looks really fine there.
And she looks good in the swimsuit in the comics, man. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, I know. With the Jim Lee and all that. Yeah.
Back when all the X-Men female characters except Jubilee had double D's and like big asses, right? And long hair. They all had long hair. They all had triple D's, right? Like double D's.
Oh my god, yeah.
All of them did. They were all stacked. Psylocke. They just made Psylocke a little thinner. That's all. Like she wasn't as curvy as Rogue, right? Or like Jean or Storm.
That's weird.
They made her a little bit more muscular, right? But she still had a big rack.
Yeah. I always thought Psylocke was great.
Oh yeah. No, they haven't done her service yet. We're gonna see her in the X-Men animated series, aren't we?
Right, in the '97 show. Well, in this show,
she doesn't pop up in the original 5 seasons.
Sort of.
I have the character list. It's in my notepad. I have a continuing notepad that I've been building off of through ChatGPT, where I just keep stacking all of my information and whatnot for the X-Men animated show.
Yeah, let me check Psylocke's like Wikipedia, because I'm trying to remember. Like, I seen the first 3 halves of seasons, and she hasn't yet appeared. I think she comes later in 4 or 5 maybe. Yeah. I know like Nightcrawler is in the show. Like soon we're gonna get Colossus later and Juggernaut in our next review next Monday. I think Psylocke comes next episode. I think, but in a cameo. That's the thing. But let me check it.
I'll take anything I can get. You know what I'm saying? A cameo. I don't care. I want to see her done right in the MCU. Personally, the version that they gave us of her in the Apocalypse X-Men movie was not good. At least I didn't think it was very good.
Well, she didn't do nothing. Like,
no.
I mean, Olivia Munn was a good choice. She looked great in the costume. Like they got the powers right. It was just like she didn't get nothing to do. Like she barely talked. Like that was the issue. And like for some weird reason they kept her alive. And then the next film, Dark Phoenix, they didn't bring her back. So it was so stupid. Anyway, let me confirm this for Jeff. Sonic does appear in X-Men animated series. They do have a voice. I think she does come later in the series as a major character.
She's Betsy Braddock, right? Isn't she Captain Britain's cousin?
Yeah.
They could play that. They could play that in the MCU. They could play that angle. I think they'll have cast a Captain Britain.
Yeah.
By the time they would get around to casting a Cyclops.
Yeah, I think they would definitely do that this time around.
If her characters are done properly, she has a really interesting power set.
I know. I always like her powers. Like, they're really cool. Yeah. So, we're getting a little too far. Anything else to discuss the Avengers movies before we get into X-Men?
Oh no, I'm full on X-Men animated episode 5. Okay. I'm good. I'm ready to clean the slate. There's lots to talk about episode 5. Episode 6 is pretty simplistic, right?
Yes.
It's kind of this Wolverine versus Saber-tooth with a little bit of bullshit. But then there's a little bit of the Genosha deal or whatever, right? Which we'll get into. But episode 5 and 6 are tie-in episodes.
Yes.
Right? They're ones that say, not part 1 and part 2, but like we'll see you the next week or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Next week. Yeah. But first, we need to do the opening titles of the X-Men as a series before we do our reviews, buddy. Because that's what our reviewers want to see. Because, come on, we cannot start with that.
What do you have the titles for us? Here, I'm trying to pull up your download and I can't pull it up. I have the titles.
I meant the intro of the X-Men as a series.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want? You want the intro?
Yes.
Okay, brother, I got you.
Because I want the people to be pumped about our reviews.
I got you.
Yeah.
Let me find it. I got it.
Oh, God.
There we go.
This one's Morph.
Morph, we dedicate these reviews to you, Morph.
Yeah,
you son of a bitch.
By the way, so we're getting to episode 5, and you brought up the moment when Charles Xavier brought up Morph. I was like, oh, come on. Like, what? Like, I get he died, but that should be important for your trading. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
don't you know we're making fun of Morph like all the time over here? Like, come on, Charles. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you gotta give us this low hanging fruit, right? Like, it's not fair, man.
Yeah, seriously. I know. It's so dramatic. I was laughing.
I was laughing. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, this is some serious shit here for a minute, whatnot. Then you're gonna bring up Morph. That just takes the whole serious level, like all the way up from seriousness to like fucking nothing. Then you drop Morph's name. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was very funny, and then of course Jubilee being Jubilee, it was funny. Just like she was talking about how you could, like, I don't know, like how I hold these big walls. I was like,
we've got to get somebody on here at some point that watched the animated show when they were a little kid and like really was into this shit or whatever, whatnot. I was like crying over this stuff or whatever, whatnot. And I want to know what it was like if the death of Morph was really impactful to anybody out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? If, like, like something that they carried with them or whatever, whatnot, right? As a kid, like, oh, Morph, like.
Yeah, and then be surprised that the character actually, spoilers, like, is alive. Well.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Next season, when we get into the Sinister plot, which I'm excited for. But anyway, that
just like what's his name? Just like what's his name? Wife was fucking live -1, dude. What the fuck?
Oh my god, yes. That is funny. Yeah, I always hate. I always
it was
hate
funny as shit. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah, I always hate when you think these characters are dead, but some reason they are alive for some reason. I'm like, why? Like, I don't care about them. Look, the worst one was
I mean, she survived a hurricane similar to episode 5 with Storm in the Danger Room. It was similar.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, like yeah. I mean, no. I mean, first off, it was Godzilla's atomic breath, and then somehow the wing kind of like hit her direction, and then like, I mean, well, like an atomic bomb, it hit, whole wind hits it, and then she gets pushed off, and it's like, oh my god. Anyway, what I'm saying, like, I don't know if you've seen Jurassic Park 3, the character Billy, like he's supposed to die by the pterodactyls. And then some reason towards the end of the film of Jurassic Park 3, he survived somehow. And I'm like, why? I don't like Billy. It's like he's such a stupid character. It's like, ugh.
Well, so they really throw a lot. Like, it's funny, like I was trying to watch the episode 5 right tonight.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, like, what if they tried to follow the MCU a formula similar to the animated show? Right? Like, how would that play out? And so episode 5 is going on. I'm thinking about that in the back of my head. And as they're throwing the Morlocks in there, like more and more characters from the Morlocks that I can remember from the comics, and just hearing their names start popping out of the woodwork, right? I'm like, wait a minute here. There's like 20 different fucking characters in this goddamn episode. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm thinking to myself, in the real life MCU, in real live action, they could never throw this many characters into like one of the X-Men movie or something like that, or whatever, right? Like, it'd be crazy.
No.
But they did it in the animated show. Like, they were like, "Fuck it." Like, I mean, seriously, like we'd have to do a deep dive, folks. But basically, X-Men animated episode 5, right? Is essentially, I believe, titled. What is it? What is the title of episode 5? Cold Vengeance is 6.
Yeah.
Captive Hearts.
Captive Heart is called.
Yeah, Captive Hearts. And the main characters of episode 5 are Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Callisto, and the Morlocks.
Yes.
Now, Storm already I'm going to tell you right now, Storm is my MVP.
Okay. Yeah.
Of this episode. All right, you sent me that in the Gmail. All right.
Yeah.
So no, and you know why though, right? Because I mean, like they I don't want to skip too far ahead in the episode, but we can on these, so why not? They did some stuff directly from the comics that was great with the Morlocks in this. But what did you think, Andreas? What did you think of the whole opening and whatnot with the danger room and whatnot, right? Like Storm going OP, right?
Yeah. So, like, if you're not a Storm fan, that's the thing from the comics, that she's very claustrophobic. That's the thing. Something in her past can happen, like an explosion had happened, and she got stuck in the breach, similar to Wanda in the MCU with the Stark bomb. And one of the things that is cool about this series, they really built it up to that and make her overcome that fear, which is great. Because one of the things that it's something we don't see in the X-Men films is like we're seeing the characters overcome their fears and control them. And so like seeing Storm like facing her fear is really great to see that. And so I really like that this episode did that when I first saw this in the rewatch 2 years ago. And I thought it was really great. And I like they continued that from the last episode. Like, if you didn't see, from our reviews, we saw a brief glimpse of that in the Magneto episode, daily reunions. And so that was really great payoff. And I like how we sort of built that up. And it gets paid off very well in this season 1, which is good. And seeing Danger Room was great. I love the Danger Room. It's such a great exercise thing from a comics. And, seeing them versus machines and like, robots and all that, it's so cool. And it's always sad that the X-Men films didn't do that. Like, it's so weird. The third films, you see the Danger Room, and that's it. And it's so weird. Like X-Men: The Last Stand, the opening of that film, X-Men 3, we thought that the X-Men were in a pile, but then you didn't realize that was the Danger Room, which was kind of cool.
No, and I want to point out too, Andreas, I don't know how fresh the animated series is to you, but I never watched the animated series, folks, when I was a kid. So, I've played it before in the background as go to sleep material at night. But as I've told Andreas, the farthest I've ever gotten is season 2. And even then I loosely was just paying attention. So I really am reviewing these sort of authentically here, episode to episode, and kind of taking them in without really knowing what I'm getting into. And this is a really good representation of the Danger Room. Now, the Danger Room, for those of you who don't know from the X-Men lore, is essentially a very super high tech. I think did Xavier use any alien tech or anything like that, whatnot, to build the Danger Room? Would there have been any of that kind of stuff in there or whatnot? Or no, yeah.
No. This
him and Beast built it, right?
Yeah. It's usually Beast and him. In general, it's kind of was built by Xavier because he has the money. So, but in general, it's always Beast because Beast is.
And it's a training room that basically illuminates hologramic images that are tangible almost, right? That present the X-Men with abilities to practice their powers against combatants, in the comics, for instance, where they're visually actually representations of Saber-tooth or Magneto, right? And and you'll see them actually formulating strategies on the fly and whatnot, and everything, right? It's funny seeing Jubilee in there because I don't know what the hell Jubilee's going to do with her powers against lasers and shit, whatnot, everything, right? And all this other stuff. What's she going to do? Yeah. Right?
Well, actually, I mean, it's kind of funny. Let's talk about this. Jubilee actually has a powerful power. It's just, it's a very funny thing because, she's a kid, she doesn't use it in a way where, the adults of, powerful enough to show it off. She has a powerful power. Being it's similar to Gamek's power. It's just differently. It's more like fireworks, and so I don't know. I think she has useful powers. It's just she's just a kid. It's what else?
They don't explain this in the animated series. They explain this in the comic books. That basically, she does have comic. She does have mutant abilities and mutant powers that are somewhat effective or somewhat useful, but her control of them is not good. So the best that she can usually conjure when she goes to try to use her powers in some kind of defensive mode or whatnot is just creating basically sparkles and shit and whatnot, and poofs of energy and shit and whatnot that really doesn't do much. It might blind an opponent or something like that, right? But she does have untapped mutant power, right, in her abilities and whatnot. It's kind of similar in a way to Iceman, right, with Emma Frost. How in the comics, Emma Frost takes over Iceman, right, mind, and finds out that he has all this unchecked power that he's just never tapped into or decided to use, but it's always been there and whatnot. And then Iceman becomes OP and shit, right? Which I didn't even think about it until now. Iceman is not in the series. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, he's in the series. He has his there's see, this is where I'm different from you. I actually remember some of the episodes past season 2. I just see them out of order, but there's a eccentric Iceman episode around I think season 4 or 5, and because he gets connected to the X Factor. They bring those characters back, bring those characters to the show, and Xavier finds out that he didn't know that the government built a mutant task force, because in the comics Xavier does work with the government, but secretly, no one in the high tops know about mutants working with the government inside, of that with the whole prejudice thing going on with the mutants. So it's a great episode actually with Iceman. It's called Cold Comfort. I think that's the title. It's great episode. It goes into the 5 original X-Men, flashback, which is cool, and it's really great episode. I love that one.
Do they introduce Moira McTaggart? Will they do the X Factor stuff?
No, before that. See, we get Moira McTaggart with the she's coming. Actually, she's coming later in this season. With the cure, this two-part apocalypse about the virus and all that. Yeah, it's before that because material gets very important during the Phoenix saga and all that.
Okay, well, let's before we get too ahead. Now, you put together the PowerPoint, right? Why don't I go ahead and pull it up? Now,
right. Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead? Do you want to just tell me how you want me to process this, and then just kind of explain what you put together here?
Yeah. I guess let's go with the Morlocks. Like, let's talk about the Morlocks before we get to Saber-tooth. So we'll get to Saber-tooth when we talk about Cool Vengeance. So anyway, hello everyone. This is Andreas, Pop Culture Guy. Just like the Easter eggs I did with WandaVision, I decided, well, me and Jeff discussed that maybe we need to go in depth about who the mutants we're going to get introduced in the X-Men animation series. So I made a PowerPoint on these two specific characters that we got introduced in this episode, the Morlocks, and then of course we did see Saber-tooth 2 episodes ago, well, 2 episodes, but we don't know the extent of the character. So first off, the Morlocks. Who are they in episode 5, Captain Heart? They are mutants, but they're outcasts from society because they're more grotesque than some mutants, like as Crystal or some of the members of the Morlocks in the episode explained that because of their disfigurement, like facial or body type as mutants, they're not like how mutants or normally look like humans, so they can easily like adjust in society, without being noticed, except for Sentinels tracking them, right? And so they hide in the sewers because they're not going to be accepted in society. And the Morlocks name, it actually came from which I forgot that it's from the H.G. Wells Time Machine. If you know that famous story, science fiction movie, with those weird creatures with foggy eyes. Yeah, and the reason we're talking about them, they're very important mutants in the the X-Men universe. They're kind of like underground. Their leader Callisto is a very important character, which we see Callisto in the live action film of X-Men 3: The Last Stand. The reasons why is that they get killed in the very famous storyline, the Mutant Massacre of the Uncanny X-Men issue 211, where Saber-tooth and the Marauders attacked the Morlocks and killing all of them because they were deemed very mutant, and they were ordered by Mr. Sinister, which we're going to see later next season in X-Men Animated Series Season 2. He's the one that orchestrated the Mutant Massacre. And in the comics, we never get this reveal, but later on, Gatman, our favorite Cajun thief, was part of this when we get his origin later in the mid-2000s. And so that's what happened. So it's kind of funny. I forgot that Saber-tooth was involved with this. So yeah, and later on, we get multiple versions of Morlocks in the comics. So that's kind of important. Please go down to the live action one. So
I forgot about Caliban. That we don't see him. We don't see him in episode 5.
Oh yes, yeah. That's the thing. Like, some of the members have popped up in the X-Men films. It's kind of funny. You brought up Caliban. I was like, oh yes, Caliban was in the team. It was funny. Caliban is there. Leech, the kid that was the mutant cure. Leech is in the Morlocks. And then who else was in the Morlocks that I recognize? Let me check this out. What else? Let me check out the members here. Good call. Caliban, because Caliban is, it's always funny how the X-Men films take these characters. Caliban, Dark Beast, he was usually in this team. What else? Leech, I brought up. Storm was also the leader after overthrowing Callisto, which you saw in the episode here. I'm looking at other names that I think people. The other one was Marrow, Marrow. One,
Yeah.
the other one, that's a very important character from the Morlocks. She's also the member of that. If you read the comics, what else? What's the other character I'm like blanking on? But yeah, I think that's it. Oh, Angel Dust from Deadpool 2. Oh, go back to live action. Sorry. I'm like all over the place now. So, all right. Like, so we've seen these characters in the movies I brought up. So the Morlocks appear in X-Men 3 Last Stand. So like Callisto was the new like female assistant for Magneto after Mystique got the cure in X-Men 3. And so she's the one that does the speed, and somehow she had like a power to know where was the location of some mutants in an area. It was so weird. It was so weird how they did it. And what else? Yeah, because she like possessed this is why she possessed Caliban's mutant sensing ability. So they mix her power and plus the Quicksilver speed as well into her character in the X-Men 3 film. That's crazy. I totally forgot that. So like Arc-Light was in there. Oh no. Can you stay there? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know. The X-Men films are so bizarre.
I was gonna get back into episode 5.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll come back into the PowerPoint then. I'm sorry. There's a lot of information with the Morlocks. I just.
Oh, I know, but it's tough because unfortunately we can't pull up there's no animated footage of this episode for me to work with, right? Like for me to actually play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Raven, it's not the kind of Angel Dust you're thinking of, brother.
Morlocks are mutant punks, man. Oh my god. Yes, I know. It's the Geo Corona character from Deadpool, the first film. Apparently, she's a Morlock, which I'm like, what?
Is that what they called the Geo Corona character? They called her. That's what they called her.
Yeah, I was looking at the information. She is the intro dust, and I need to watch the first film that she was called that. But yeah, she's the partner for.
I still need to watch Deadpool too.
She's not in that movie.
I know. Doesn't she get killed at the end of Deadpool 1?
No, she survived. It's just her boss get killed by Deadpool. Anyway, so let me like get you on, quickly and get back to episode 5. So Psylocke is in X-Men 3. That's the chick with the purple headlights, which is weird. And then lastly, Deadpool 2 had like one of the monologues, but very quickly, that was Angel Dust I brought up. She's there. Caliban. Thank you, Jeff, bringing it up. So Caliban, another major character. We actually saw by 2 different actors, by 2 different continuities in timelines. We saw Caliban first in X-Men Apocalypse with Psylocke, if you've seen the film. And then we see Caliban again in Logan. And that's how the bad guys from Logan find Logan in the family in the farm. If you've seen the film, as Jeff haven't seen that. So just letting you know that Caliban is also in Logan. And the Morlocks are in.
That's interesting. It makes sense. The Morlock characters. I mean, and to really get into episode 5. The Morlock characters are easy characters to blend, right? Like when you think about it, that you can kind of slide them anywhere in a way. You know what I mean? They're kind of anti-heroes as characters, right? Yeah. So, but bottom line, a lot happens in episode 5. Right? We get off we go off of episode 5. We go off the danger room scene, right? Where Storm has her whatever you call it, her little episode of her, because of her whole claustrophobic deal. In the danger room when Professor X drops like the ceiling and the walls in on them, right? And Rogue tries to fight off the walls, and Storm's trying to use wind to try to fight off the ceiling from coming down on them and crushing them, right? And so we go off that into like the scene with Wolverine and Jean, where Jean walks into Wolverine's room when he's like wearing his karate belt and shit, whatnot, and practicing karate after he got his ass beat by Saber-tooth. And they get all like close and shit, right? And we get like our first real like Jean and like Wolverine moment, Andreas, right? Yes. Where he really like displays his like emotions like for her, and like in a way, isn't she kind of like she's like a tease kind of in the animated series a little bit because she like everyone else seems to be oblivious to his affections for her except her. She seems to be the only one that notices it. That it's like like when he takes off and her Cyclops gets in the room, right? And he's not there. Cyclops is like all like doofus and shit. Doesn't know why he's not there. Jean knows.
Yeah, I know. It's funny how she knows, and it's like, I mean, and it was like they panned the picture of her and Cyclops.
She's like, it's because of me, and she sees the picture.
Yeah. I just laugh so hard when we see pictures of Jean and Scott together, and then like Wolverine like pulls his claw and scratch it. It's so funny.
So I know, yeah. So Wolverine takes off, and so Jean and Cyclops go out on a vacation, or on vacation. They go out on like a date to the movie theaters or whatnot. I forget what movie they went to see.
Phantom the Opera. That's the movie.
Phantom the Opera. Raven, we already talked about how hot Rogue is in the cartoon in the comic book. She's fine as fuck, bro. What, are you kidding me? That's why Rogue is always, no matter what threesome alignment you give me of X-Men animated female characters to put in the threesome, Rogue is in the threesome, right? Like Rogue is locked in to the threesome no matter what. She's got the foursome would be better. She's got a spot locked in. So no matter what combination you throw at me of like Cyclops, Storm, right? Caliban, right?
Okay, dude. That's a weird combination.
I'm just kidding.
I think
Calypso. Because Calypso is a woman. Even though in the animated series, episode 5, you might not know it. Yeah. Right? In the comics, she looks like a dude.
I mean, she's like a pirate. Like she has the eye patch. It's always funny.
But it's hardcore because they get grabbed up by the Morlocks, right? And the Callisto flat out tells Cyclops that like she don't need his powers. She wants to breed with his ass. She wants to breed with him, right? Yeah. Like that's what animated series is coming at you hard, like motherfucker, with that shit. Right? Talk about some breeding shit, Andreas.
Yeah, I like how Raymond is saying he agreed with you, Jeff, with the precept thing. Wait. See,
I'm TrueKnowledge, baby. How could you not agree with me?
Yeah, first off, the perfect threesome for real is Psylocke, Rogue, and then Jean. Like that's like the perfect. Like
that's a foursome, unless you want it to be the three of them by themselves.
Whoa.
Well, you're not participating.
Oh my god.
You would be the fourth one. If you're gonna have three of them, it's a foursome.
Yeah. Like that's my dream,
That's a lot of women, man. I don't know. You're gonna have to like do some training. If you're gonna tackle all that,
I'll take also put Storm aside.
Well, yeah, because you got to have some diversity, right?
Yeah. I mean, Psylocke's diversity too. She's Asian, and then
she's Asian. I know.
Yeah, and then Storm is black, and then you got the Starflame girl. Rogue, and then Jean.
It's hard to pick because Jean's a redhead. Like you got Rogue. Rogue is the finest motherfucker out of all of them.
Yeah. At
least in the animated show in the comics.
Yeah, she has the best superhero costume too. Love her.
Yeah, I mean, I can do Mystique, Raven, because Mystique can be anybody you want. So like you could be in the bedroom with Mystique on demand. She could become other women for you. So like think about the diversity and variety of that situation, Ray. But you could have a fat chick, right? And then all of a sudden during sex you can flip it over and have the fat chick become a skinny chick. That is some serious. I mean, that'd be interesting. Also, a little bit weird too, but either way.
Actually, that's funny. Mystique would definitely work, especially the Rebecca Remain version of Mystique. That is actually like X2 when she was like herself, and when she was trying to seduce the prison guard for Magneto in the plastic prison, and she like roofied him. That was so sexy and like.
Raven's with us on that one. He said it's suspenseful.
Oh my god!
One season she could turn into a dude. Raven, come on, man.
What did you miss? I'm here today to meet the woman of my dreams. I've been talking to this girl on the internet for a while. I actually been.
We gotta play that again for you, Raven, or what?
Oh my god, no. Tiger knows what up. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Anyways, so the Morlocks grab up Jean and Cyclops, right? And just to mate. And like the Morlocks are manhandling, like the manhandling like Cyclops and shit and whatnot. Like, he's getting tossed around like a little bitch though, like the whole episode, right? By that one Morlock, the big one, right? Yeah. So, right, he's always tossing him around, and so it's like just like in the comics, except in the comics it was a lot more like hardcore. Storm like comes down there and shit and whatnot, right? And it's like because the Morlocks are putting up a good fight against the X-Men. Right? Like even when the full team shows up, they're putting on a good fight. Storm takes on Callisto out of nowhere. I didn't expect it. And she's like, I'm gonna fight you for leadership.
Yeah.
Right?
Really
like
cool.
but they didn't use knives like they do in the fucking comics, right? In the comics they use knives, don't they?
Oh yeah. I think so. It's been
they do. Storm gets cut, right? Remember? Her face gets cut and shit, whatnot. Right? It's hardcore in the comics. They fight with knives. And this one, they use lightsabers. It was some Star Wars shit.
Yeah. I mean...
How the Morlocks got lightsabers, I have no idea. But maybe Dave Filoni was not. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just let people in mind...
Those bitches that look like lightsabers to you?
I mean, yes. I mean, they remind me of the Darth Maul's lightsaber, the double lightsaber. Yes, I know that. Yes, I know.
They held up like lightsabers too for a minute.
Yeah. It's very funny. I mean, look, it's a children's cartoon. They're not gonna do, the knives thing, obviously. So.
Oh, it's still good though, right? Because Aurora wins the fight against Callisto. Yeah. And she's like, and she tells the Morlocks, she's like, you guys can all come to the mansion, all you nasty, ugly fuckers. Right? Like, which I personally was like, fuck that. Like, when she said that, I was like, what? Like, seriously, Storm? Come on now. Like, shouldn't you check with Professor Xavier first before you start letting all these nasty fucking Morlocks come to the mansion and shit? But they're like, nah, bruh. You know what I'm saying? We're too grotesque to go live at the mansion.
So, like, in a very simple way, if the society accepts them, they will come up and they will go to the mansion. But because they cannot yet go up there, they're not going to go up there to join them if the society accepts them. So let's be serious about this, Jeff. This is ridiculous. Jeff, this is their livelihood. They cannot go up there. Disney Plus new series, The Morlocks, The Rejected Jedi.
It's just the way it went down was kind of funny. I'm sorry, but but Aurora was like, okay, well, until that time comes, right? I'm putting Callisto in charge, even though I just beat her ass or whatever, right? And so Callisto still ends up in charge, and she just keeps her mouth shut and goes about her business. But she basically just wanted Cyclops to be like her stud. That's what she wanted Cyclops to be. She wanted an heir or whatever, whatnot, right? Or like companionship or some shit.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't understand why Callisto wants Cyclops. Like, if she just wants to be mate, like, why could she just go?
Because she got that really good video. How'd she get that video footage of like him kicking the ass of all them Sentinels? How did Morlocks track that down?
Hey, I mean, supervillains have no explanation to have these high-tech technology. You have to be rich to have that. But,
that's right. She had like TV sets next to her and shit, whatnot, or her throne and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, look, they were in the sewers, so they probably got this in a very disposable junk. So they probably put it together and then bam.
The big mute guy at one point, he had a boulder or something at one point, whatnot, or he was just throwing it rogue. I'm like, where did the boulder come from in the sewers?
Yeah, I know. It's really bizarre. Yeah, it's very funny. But hey, it's cartoons. That's a girl thing, All
right, so let's do a rating for episode 5, and then we'll do episode 6 when we get out of here.
Okay.
So what's your rating for episode 5?
I'll give it a 8 out of 10. It's a good episode. I enjoy it. It's really fun. It's great to see the Morlocks, if you know those characters. it's it really spices up the Jane and Scott and Wolverine love triangle to the max, which is great. By the way, it gets really funnier in next season when they get married because Wolverine goes to the danger room in his like tux and he fights the various X-Men villains and it's so hilarious. And then I think he does say Jane towards the end of the danger room. It's so
Gene!
yeah, and he fights Cyclops in the danger room. Like that's the funny part.
Oh, he fights Cyclops too?
Yeah, at the end of the end of the danger room fight scene.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be great.
Oh god, it's hilarious. It happens. I think it happens in season 3, and it's hilarious.
I've got to find a clip of him talking about Morph. I need some Morph clips of him like saying shit about Morph so I can play him.
Yes, I know. Oh my god, it gets funnier next season, which is
this
hilarious.
one's for you, Morph.
It's like I'm not gonna hurt you, Morph. Like we're friends.
Professor Xavier's like, don't forget about Morph.
I mean, like, they didn't forget Morph. Like, why are you forgetting? Oh,
I know, for real, brother. Just happened the other day.
yeah, like it's happened the other day. Like, why you want to remind them this tragedy? Well, supposed tragedy of this character.
Nobody's crying. I saw a lot of dry eyes.
Yeah, that was the funny part. Like, no one didn't react to that. It was like, it's like, oh, remember what happened to Morph? I was like, they can react because they're busy defending themselves in the danger room. It's like, what? Oh my god!
Emotions work differently when you're an animated character. But so we go to episode 6, right? And I'm dropping a 10 out of 10 on this bitch, just to be clear. Episode 5 is a 10 out of 10. Storm is OP, baby. OP. Professor Xavier's like, Storm, you handle your business today. Like, right? Like I knew you could be the field commander. You know what I'm saying? With that, look what you did. There you go.
Yeah.
And then and at the end, and then they went to Genosha, right? At the end, right? Gambit mentioned something about Genosha. Professor Xavier's like, oh well, we might as well go check it out. We'll go over to Genosha, right? And Genosha, of course, from the comics, is the sort of Magneto protected space over there, right? That's kind of like a mutant free space.
Yeah.
And I believe that haven't they been rumoring that they might make the Celestial in the ocean, Genosha?
I see that. I was surprised to hear that. I guess so, but that's kind of weird because Genosha is an island.
I know, and they might have the adamantanium come from there too.
That doesn't make sense. Like, just keep it an island, and then the adamantium is from a meteor rock. Like that's.
Well, either way, they go to Genosha, right? Storm goes with Gambit and Jubilee, and they think they're gonna go and just chill and have a nice vacation. But like the minute that like the clerk figures out who Storm is, right? Like he calls somebody on the phone and he's like, "Oh, we got some new good guests or whatnot," to somebody, like some secret agent shit to somebody on the phone to close out the episode, right?
Yeah, it's really fun. Like that's a great way to start the next episode when we get to next week. It's really perfect to start another chapter of the X-Men. I really dug that this series like gives you everything you know about the X-Men universe so right away, and sending up like early in this episode, like as a B plot, and then they become a major A plot in the next episode. That's really cool, and I like how they set it up in.
They throw a lot at you.
Yeah, and it's great. I love that. Yeah, if you don't know what's Genosha, it's a big deal, and it's great that they did that. It's different here in the show because it's more of like here they're making it as a camp, in a kind of changing camp for mutants, which is very dark. And the fact they're doing that for next episode, it's kind of crazy seeing them as slaves, and so they really do a good job of balancing the dark and.
Well, that's after episode 6.
Yeah,
because episode 6 is totally Wolverine centric, right? It's like isn't it basically just almost like a solo Wolverine episode?
Yes. So I really like this episode. I give it 10 out of 10. Just a heads up because I love Wolverine. I like the Saber-tooth character. We get finally a centric episode for Saber-tooth because we got him for episode 3 and 4, and he played kind of like a minor role. So let me talk briefly of Saber-tooth. So Saber-tooth is a Victor Creed. He's from the X-Men. Actually, it's funny. He first appeared in Iron Fist, so we didn't know at the time he was a mutant, but later on he became a mutant, and he has the similar powers as Wolverine, as a rapid healing factor, raised sharp fang claws, and superhuman senses, just like Wolverine. And he is the arch enemy of Wolverine, as you see with his 3 episodes. I really dug that the series done a really good job of explaining the relationship of Saber-tooth and Wolverine's rivalry. They're not brothers. That's the thing I need to bring up. That's just a thing in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So they're just like 2 men that were like friends, just like Professor X and Magneto. But Saber-tooth became crazy and killed his team of Weapon X. And speaking of Saber-tooth, so we did see him in X-Men Animated Series. And he pops up in X-Men Revolution as one of the members of the Brotherhood Mutants. In films, the first version we get is Taylor Mayne Saber-tooth in the X-Men, the 2000 film. And we're going to see that version again in the Deadpool 3, if you've seen the leak in behind the scenes. Are you okay there, Jeff? I just
I'm good. I'm good, sir.
And, and then we got Lee Schreiber, great actor. He's my favorite version of Saber-tooth. Of course, this is X-Men Origins Wolverine's version. There, he's like the brother of Logan. He was the best thing about that movie, besides Ryan Reynolds, but they sew his mouth, which was wrong. And this is a fun fact. He was supposed to be in Logan, but unfortunately, by the time they were in the screening stage, they kind of removed his character, which is sad. But there's like a small Easter egg. If you see the lead scene of Logan, there's the little chubby kid, the black chubby kid in Logan has a Wolverine toy. In the lead scene, he also has a Saber-tooth toy, which is really funny. And so it was cool that they referenced that. But yeah, that's pretty much Saber-tooth's live action form. And and then games, he's appeared in a lot of the games. Of course, he was in the X-Men Legend games 1 and 2. But yeah, Saber-tooth is a great character. It's very annoying that the live action films just has such an odd way handling Victor Creed. That's the thing. X-Men Origins Wolverine doesn't call Victor Creed Saber-tooth. He just called Victor Creed. Where in X-Men he's called Saber-tooth. But we never in the first X-Men I always forget the first X-Men film. We never acknowledged that Wolverine and Saber-tooth are enemies. It's just kind of like if you know that it's kind of there, but it's not there in the first X-Men film. So yeah, so that's Saber-tooth's history. See clearly with this information I provided. So yeah, Saber-tooth is a great character. I really like this episode, Cold Ventures. It's really great to see Wolverine in a cold climate. I always dug their banter in this episode. It's funny how like Saber-tooth say like my favorite lines from Wolverine is like, "Thank goodness I'm in this the ice cube he's holding his life," and he said like, "I don't have to hear you talking anymore," which was hilarious. And then of course Saber-tooth has this funny line where it's like, I'm hearing mortar, like a mortar, and then he sees Wolverine, being rescued with these was it like tribe people, and so that was really cool. So I really dug that, and then like it was great to see Wolverine being happy for the first time, like after having his emotions with Jean, it's clouding his mind, so he has to step away from the X Mansion, and before that we see the opening where Cyclops and Jean see the room being messed up because Wolverine just has anger issues, and then when Cyclops leave, we get the funny scene where Jean say like, Scott, you don't know, he left because of me, and like push her head down, and it's like, oh my god, Jean.
Cyclops doesn't hear that somehow.
Yeah, like that's the funny part. How you don't hear that? Like your girlfriend / later wife says that she's the reason he left, and like that should be a serious concern, right? Like they kind of just throw the relationship with Jean and Logan at the audience, right? Like they don't like build it at all. They don't like establish it, right? Yeah,
it's just like there. You know what I mean, right? Like, and like Jean like accepts it, right? Like she doesn't like reject it. She just like sidesteps it, like she does like in the episode in last episode, right? When she's like when Jean said when Logan's like, I need you, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I've gotta go see Cyclops about whatever, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? Like, so she's like a tease almost.
Yeah.
Isn't she like kind of like, you know what I mean? Like she's kind of a tease. Like it's not fair to Logan in a way, because that's why he takes off, because he's like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. I don't know if she's teasing there. I feel like she's like not confessing her feelings to Wolverine, so she just like leaves.
They've made it. I think that's the most that he's like made it clear to her in this animated X-Men version. Like this is the most ardent that he's made it out to her, like that he really has these feelings for her, right?
Yes.
Kind of, right? Like,
yeah.
But it's very adult though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very like adult. It's like it's you would never see a cartoon now like have these themes, like these adult themes when it comes to romance and everything and whatnot, right? It just wouldn't play in our culture.
No, well, and I mean, like I don't see this in cartoons. Like it's more differently. Like you see relation like grow and bloom in subsequent seasons, but with this one it's weird because like it's there and it just happens, which is funny.
They just throw it right at you, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like they expect you to read the comics.
Yeah, I'm trying. You have to afford me because I haven't read the comics. Like, do they set up the Wolverine Jean relationship well?
Oh yeah, it's a concurrent theme. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I didn't start reading the Uncanny X-Men until they got into the 200s, right? But like still, like still though, the Jean Wolverine romance like is something that like Rob's has covered this on his bio he's done of Wolverine through the comics.
Yeah.
Which it's long. That's another one he did that's like multiple hours. When they from the jump when they introduced Wolverine with Storm and everybody and Nightcrawler and whatnot and Colossus into the X-Men, they established their relationship with him and Jean from jump. Right? Okay. It was always there. It was always a lingering thing, right? It didn't become really flushed out hardcore until they were both on the blue team.
Okay, in the 80s, I guess, right?
Late 80s, early 90s. When they came out with the self-titled X-Men comic. That was that was the big split from gold to blue.
Okay. That makes sense.
They kept it in-house in Uncanny. Back then I was collecting both of them. Right, I had the Uncanny, subscription every month or every 2 weeks, right? Whatever they were printing back then, I think it was every 2 weeks. And then I started getting the X-Men right from jump. They had like 4 or 5 different covers on the first X-Men self-title, and they were very in demand. The different covers, right? They did that a lot with the X-Men self-title. They did different covers.
Yeah, like for that one, if people don't know, that's the one that formed all X-Men. Versus the Magneto. That's the cover that Jeff is talking about.
Yes, it is. Yes, and Magneto was really well drawn. I really liked Magneto. The way that they depicted him in the self-titled X-Men. I love that. I've told you before, I love that artwork.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's very distinct. Very colorful. I think that was Fabian, what's his name? I can't remember who we talked about it before. Who was drawing and who was?
It's Jim Lee. The covers with that you're talking about, that's Jim Lee, and
that was Jim Lee.
Yeah. During the 90s, that's the cover.
Yeah, no, he was killing it. But no, they at first in the Uncanny X-Men line, they were housing both teams, right? And kind of like they jump around and whatnot. And then once they dropped the subtitle, that's when they made the clear, distinct split. And the Uncanny X-Men became the gold team, and the X-Men subtitle X-Men became the blue team. What you see here in the X-Men animated series, folks, is a combination of the two teams that's heavily led towards the blue team.
Yeah.
Right. Although we're going to see characters from both teams throughout the X-Men in the comics, and the blue team has Beast, it has Gambit, it has Rogue, it has Jean Grey, it has Cyclops, it has Wolverine. The only person that's on the gold team is Storm. Storm leads the gold team. Cyclops leads the blue team.
Yeah, and then they combined that to this show, which is great.
I like how they kept the leadership in place like that, right?
And I don't want to go back to episode 5. That's another thing that's cool about episode 5 is like seeing Storm as the leader, because that's the thing that's from the early 80s through like the 90s. That Storm is the second command after Cyclops and the X-Men, and Storm is a badass as the leader. So I always like that, and
that's what that whole Danger Room component was adding that layer of doubt to her as like a leader, right? And then having her like overcome it. You know what I mean? Against Callisto.
Yeah, and which is good, and I like that. And they definitely did that very well. And what else? And Jubilee, trying to figure out, Jubilee wasn't in blue and gold team.
She was on blue. She was on blue.
Okay, she was in blue. That makes sense because her popularity in the subtitle X-Men comics is what it connected heavily to the X-Men animated series. Yeah, well, and she was a good pick to replace Kitty Pryde as one of the younger X-Men, because that's the thing. Because like Kitty Pryde, when she was like Jubilee in the comics, where she was like the young,
similar,
different powers, but
she just had more tangible powers in terms of her ability to actually contribute to the team.
Yes, that's very true, and we'll see more Kitty Pryde in the next X-Men show, X-Men Revolution, which is my favorite X-Men version show. She's great.
No, and just to get into episode 6, it really is a Wolverine episode. It's very internal, and it basically, there's not much to say about it really. It's basically just Wolverine in Canada in the Arctic, kind of clearing his head, and then he bumps into Saber-tooth, right? And when Saber-tooth knocks him off a cliff, he gets taken in by these native, almost like Alaskan Indian kind of people in Canada or whatever, right? Yeah. They take him in and whatnot, right? And one of the tribesmen gets all jealous of Wolverine because he can catch more fish than him and all this shit and whatnot, right? And all the girls are digging him and he's getting tossed in the air and shit and all this shit. He don't like it. So he sees Saber-tooth and they make a deal. Saber-tooth is really imposing in the animated series compared to the dude. If I was that dude, I would shit my pants. Seriously, Saber-tooth was 5 times bigger than him.
Yeah, I know.
He's enormous compared to that dude.
I always love that because this show always make wants you to know that Wolverine is small, and they always make the jokes that he's small or he's such a small person.
Saber-tooth looks like fucking Colossus.
Yeah.
And shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's even bigger than Colossus. Colossus is is tall, but he's not as big.
No, in the animated series, Saber-tooth is 8 foot tall.
Yeah, I know. They really contemplated that he's a saber-tooth. That's all about it. He's a saber-tooth.
Yeah, he's huge, right? Yeah. Either way. So he makes this dirty deal with this Indian dude, right? Who takes Wolverine out to go fishing. And while he's doing it, Saber-tooth eviscerates the village and all this shit, and where the Indian people live, right? And so we get this big duel with Saber-tooth and Wolverine there, and the guy that fucked Wolverine over tackles Saber-tooth and tries to help Wolverine out, and And like, well, Saber-tooth has all these explosives and shit. It has all the Indian people like strapped to bombs and all this shit, and whatnot, right? He's like, you've got 1 minute, and the 1 minute turns into like 8 minutes.
I know, very dramatic, very villain.
He's like, you got 1 minute to fight, get through me, or these people die, or whatever. Whatnot. 8 minutes later, the bombs are still there.
I know. Well, he said like, we have to go through me to like stop the bomb, and it's like, oh, okay, you know, it's just very funny. It's like, oh.
I know, they didn't even use the remote or nothing. They just ended up picking up the bombs and throwing them in off the same cliff that Saber-tooth went off.
Yeah, like, did Saber-tooth have a remote? Like, what? I was watching.
He had like a remote control or whatever.
Yeah, I can control it. It's just funny.
They threw that whole concept right out.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny. Yeah. And what's it? It's also funny how the Indian guy got redeemed quickly. You know, like
yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, come on. I kind of wish that he died with Saber-tooth. Like,
Saber-tooth didn't die. You know he didn't die.
Yeah, I wish he died. He was so annoying. Like, he was so jealous of Wolverine.
I hate Saber-tooth's voice.
Really?
I don't like it in this animated series. No, I don't like his voice.
Oh boy, I'm sorry.
I don't not like it, but it just doesn't like. I don't know. It could be more like growly.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like more animalistic.
I mean, that's true. Well, it's kind of funny you brought up that. Like, he does act like an animal. Like, he growls.
I mean, the Saber-tooth from the original 3 X-Men films doesn't even talk.
By the way, he's not in all the 3 films. He's in one film, and then in Origins, he acts like a cat. Like you see him like walking like a cat. Like he, you know, which is funny. You know, I don't know. I feel like Lee Schreiber did a good job of being Saber-tooth.
Oh yeah, Liv Schreiber did a great job.
Yeah, I thought he had a good growly voice. He like had a menace, you know.
Liv Schreiber is good at anything that he does.
Oh yes, I mean Lee Schreiber, he can do anything. So I was very sad.
What did you pick your damn movie for after The Rock?
Soon when we get to it. Oh, actually, I do have my movie. John Wick is actually my pick.
It's gonna be John Wick. Oh, that's a good pick. I like that.
Yeah, if you want to know my answer, I picked John Wick.
I'm talking about future shows, folks, because the year is just flying right by, right? And we've got movie reviews coming up and whatnot, and everything, right? And it would be Andre's, the pop culture guy's turn in the rotation to pick a movie. So you're picking John Wick. I like that. Good pick. Cyber will like that too.
Yeah. So it was time because everyone knows that this year is the 10th anniversary for John Wick. So
wow.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, because this year, because 2014 films having their 10th anniversary year this year. So John Wick is one of them. So I thought, I was like, we need to talk about that. So it's pretty cool. So yep.
What do you think of of the website? How I got it going on so far here?
Let's talk about this vision you sent to me in Facebook, I think, or in my phone. I'm like, finding white vision penis for a long time, but ever since Jeff discovered it behind his laptop with Andreas Polkart guy one night on the MCU Edge report in the lab working on a new vision soon to be determined. Well, sir, I like your story there. It's not true. I think we should be accurate.
Did you see I actually got white vision in the website now? He's there. I got him. He's talking in the thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yes, the MCU Edge has been made whole, and I am forever grateful. Yes, I did so that. I was laughing hard when you felt that. I was like,
oh yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Oh man, we need to keep that. Just tell people that the white vision from WandaVision contacted us and made a comment, which is true, because he told me this in the future where I'm at, and so yeah, it's true fact.
I'm going to put the picture above on the template. I'm going to put a picture of us from the show with White Vision's penis.
Oh my god!
Or I'll put a picture of White Vision.
Just white vision, please. No graphic. I don't think our viewers will I mean, no, our viewers will be fine if they know the joke. But if you have new viewers, it's like, what are you talking about? Just put the white vision's face from the show. That's it, and then people will.
You're right. You're right. They're not going to know the inside jokes, are they?
Yeah, exactly. Just our general fans will understand the inside joke. You know.
Well, do you want to do ratings, sir, for episode 6?
Yeah, I say it earlier. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I really dug it. Wolverine. I want to say this. Wolverine is not my favorite X-Men character. But he's a great character. I like his his involvement in the X-Men. I like his relationship with Saber-tooth. It's really great. I like that this episode really expand upon that a bit more. So it's really cool. So I give it a 10 out of 10. And,
all right, and I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7.75. It's a solid episode for what it is. I'm glad they gave all that time to Wolverine as a character.
Yeah. And
Saber-tooth too as a villain.
Yeah, exactly. Because their relationship is going to get more explored in the next seasons, especially with Weapon X. Yeah, and we're gonna get more character-driven episodes for the X-Men characters in next season, which is great. Which is gonna be awesome. So, hello everyone. This is Bulk Butcher Guy. Thank you, Jeff, for pulling up my channel. I'm up to 874 subscribers, so I got one increase, which is nice. Tomorrow I'm gonna post a WandaVision tribute because it premiered yesterday, January 15th of 2021. So watch it out. I recently posted a new comic book read series, Shang-Chi and the Master of Kung Fu from a 2003 run. Great book I read. It's actually really awesome. Check it out. And just gonna check out my last post from 2 weeks ago. So so far doing good. But
good job, sir.
Yeah,
you did a good job on the lanterns. It looks like the Shang-Chi your Shang-Chi stuff is done pretty well.
Yeah, which is great. I love Shang-Chi, so really great. And same thing with my Batman Beyond villains. I'm very happy with that. That's doing well. So yeah, so far January's been a great month, so that's good. Live stream. I just want to bring up that me and Jeff had to cancel yesterday's live stream, so we're gonna do it next Sunday. We're gonna review Dope BMS.
I'm all in, baby.
Yeah, I sent a link to Jeff to see the film for free on YouTube, which is great. So
thank you, sir.
And before we do review the film, we're gonna talk about the geeky news of Patrick Pascal, the Fantastic Four being delayed again, and then what was the other major geeky news that happened? Something happened. I'll remember. The Mando and Grogu film being announced. So we will discuss that next Sunday in the Andreas Pop Culture Talk. So,
oh my god, it feels like forever since we reviewed Chucky, man. Holy shit!
I know. Last year, 4 episodes. And just remind people that I didn't put the live stream of the second episode because I got confused, so it had to be recorded. So it's funny. But it's there.
Oh, that's where it's at. Okay, all right.
Yeah, if you check the videos, is there. Because live stream is new for me. That second week, I accidentally pressed record, not live stream. I was like, oh, and I didn't care.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I told Jeff afterwards, Jeff, it was not live stream, it was recorded, so I had to post it.
It's all the same to me. I always feel like I'm live.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, you've been doing this for a while. For me, it was first time. I was like, okay,
No, you're right. When you do them on your own, it is different. It has become old hat now it's become old hat for you, just like it has for me in Cyber now. At least be maybe not so much doing them on your end, but being on the panel, right? I'm sure you probably feel the same way, right? You feel like you're just live all the time now when you do content.
Yeah.
That's one thing about live streaming, folks, is that you get used to being on the camera pretty damn quick because there's no way around it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's been it's been 1 year now with you guys, so it's been I've been used to it. It's been fine. It just a learning curve, with the movie reviews. So I just think it's better to I realize that I think we need to add the geeky news, because we cannot talk too much of that in the MCU before, like it's kind of like, because Jeff and I have discussed this, and
no, I enjoy being able to conflate topics and whatnot, everything right over here from the bleeding edge and bring them over to your channel or whatnot, right? I'm happy to do the same thing with Cyber. I love seeing you guys bouncing content off content we're doing here. It just makes common sense to me because as a content creator, anytime you can dual purpose as something, right, content wise, that's always a positive thing, right? So or multi-purpose it. So it just makes common sense to me if we're already covering stuff anyway for you to make content off of it. Right. I'm looking forward to reviewing Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That's a really good movie. It's not long either. It's only an hour and a half long.
Yes.
Which is not bad at all. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But besides that, folks, we've actually got a lot of MCU to cover this week. We've got The Echo episode 2 to review on Wednesday night at 9:35 p.m. Eastern, and then we're going to wrap up season 2 of What If with episodes 8 and 9 on Friday, and that'll be it. We'll be done with What If, and that will free us up on Fridays for us to go back to movie reviews. We'll have The Rock coming up next week, so that'll be dope. So, you got any final thoughts, sir, for the Bleeding Edge report? We're gonna get the hell out of here.
Well, folks, I will say, Morph, we're not gonna let you go.
This one's for you, Morph.
This one's for you, Morph.